the Book Over, a little book club where we talk about books, especially the ones that give us book hangovers. I'm Sarah, and with me is Megan.
Hey.
And today we are talking about The Deal by Elle Kennedy,
which we're very excited to talk about because we've been hearing about it for such a long time, and like a lot of people have recommended this one to us.
Yeah, I feel like I've been seeing it a lot as recommendations, and like even new readers, people being like, oh, I just started this. And then like the reason this one piqued my interest was someone once told me this was like their go-to, like kind of like their hair of the book. So they're like, oh, I can read it anytime, and it's like my entertaining, plus like it resets me from something dark. And I was like, oh, okay.
And yeah, anytime someone says that, you're like, that's like, oh, that's your comfort read, then I'm here for it.
Right. Yeah.
And we were talking about this before, where we thought it was very interesting when it came out, because it's been out for a while, but it's like, you know, it keeps like hitting like the Kindle charts. People keep talking about it still. I like went to look it up and I was like, wait a minute, I own this. It must have been like, you know, sometimes like there's freebies. I think during quarantine, I got a lot of free books that I just like didn't realize. So I was like, I own it. Yay. Which I'm very happy I own it.
I know. I think I saw recently that it was like for like up for free. And I was like, oh, I'll go get it because we're gonna do this. And then I was like, oh, I love Amazon. Thank you, Amazon, for reminding me that I already owned it.
I think that's what happened. You sent me the link. You sent me the link, and I was like, wait, we own this. So we had a gem in our library, on our TBRs, just like we all do, just waiting for us to read it. So very happy we did it too.
My list, my books are like that meme of just like all the other books that are like when you get one and they're like, sure, you know, you're gonna read that one soon, right? Like no, I don't even know what I have. I have to search before I get books now. Like
the Kindle, like is there a limit on your Kindle library? I hope not. Can you imagine?
I don't know. Supposedly not really, but like I don't know who did that study, because if they are like any of us, I'm sure there is a limit, and that day is gonna be a very, very sad day.
Can you imagine everyone starts hitting that limit? It's like the book apocalypse. Everyone's like, guys, I got my 10,000 book reading.
Oh, okay, sorry. We went on a
went on a gosh, but do you remember when Kindle Limited was only 10? I don't know how we did it. I don't know how we survived that.
There was a lot of screenshots and a lot of decisions being made of who to let go to get the one.
Who do you vote off the island?
I would screenshot and be like, okay, I'm gonna get you again, I promise.
Yeah. Or I'd send the sample and I'd be like, okay, I have all this. Okay,
it's so bad. Anyways, okay. Back to The Deal. It was so we were looking at a sports fake relationship.
Yeah, they were fake for a little bit. Yeah, fake relationship. And tutoring. So we got the tutoring, we got the hockey, we got the starting out as fake relationship, but I feel like there wasn't as much drama with the fake relationship with these two, which I really like. They did have like such great banter and dialogue, and this like they formed a really great friendship. It was nice to read something that wasn't like this enemies or we hate each other. They just had banter. And there was like a scene where they talked about how they argued. They were arguing about how they argued.
Yeah.
And he's like, we don't argue, it's banter. And I'm like, yeah, he's right. It is banter.
Yeah. I loved, and that was the thing. I laughed so much in this book just from Garrett, like, and her, Hannah too. But like, I feel like Garrett would always say something and I would be giggling reading this, which usually doesn't happen. So either I like all the moods and stars aligned for this one that got me like really enjoying it. It was like the perfect romantic comedy for me. Yeah.
With a touch of seriousness, which I really liked, because and talking about how it is older and kind of brought me back to my college days, and around those times, you know, people weren't taking campus assault as seriously, and now this assault with her happened, back in high school, but you heard those stories of like,
Mhm.
sports players that would like protect each other and close ranks, and like small towns and how they treat people. So I like that we also had, we had a light book that took a serious topic, and this like great guy that like worked with her through, her trauma. And the thing is, she had already like seen a therapist. She was good. She had dated before, but she still had like a normal amount of trauma to work through. I mean, not to say that there's a normal amount of trauma, but it just felt like it was done really well, the way it was done.
Mhm.
So I really liked that, we had that aspect. And I
Mhm.
liked the protectiveness too. I
I
mean, come on, who doesn't want
well, that's
who
right.
doesn't want to be
Okay.
that fun?
I just love Garrett Graham. Like he is like book boyfriend. There's so many book boyfriends we're gonna be talking about this month, but like he is so book boyfriend material,
Yeah.
because just like even from the start where like Hannah's like, no, I'm not going to tutor you, no, 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 and he was so persistent and so like, oh no, and like I just love like he had that cockiness where he's like, no, you are, like he would be like, so what time, like he was just like, he wasn't taking no for an answer. And even at the end he was the
Mhm.
same way, he was like, oh yeah, like he figured it out, everything that happened with her like breaking up with him, and how he was just like, oh, I'll give you space, but then how's it going? How's seeing other people going? Like I love that. And I was
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
whoa. And
And
then
he
it's
like
just,
the campus band he had on her
yeah,
too, because he's like, well, I didn't want you to make the mistake because I know that we're not really broken up. You're like, you're my girlfriend.
yeah, he knew, and he
Yeah.
knew that if she did do it, but she like was like, okay, I'm gonna see somebody else to like
Hmm.
show him. And then so he knew she was gonna eventually do that. And so I love that yeah, that was so funny.
That was
I love
really
that.
good.
And I
That
love
shower scene. Yeah.
yeah. The
Locker
evolution
room.
to, oh, the shower sheet. Oh my gosh. I love how she walked in and she was just
Yeah.
like penises like everywhere.
Everywhere. And Dean just like was like, hey, he didn't care.
Well, and
That
then
was so
was it
funny.
Logan that like was like,
Well,
oh hey, and then was like, oh, he's over here, like, right?
I
It was one of
I
his
well,
friends.
I feel like, well, I know Logan had the crush on her, so I feel like
Yeah.
he would have, yeah. But I know Dean, I think it was Dean who
Was
was the
it
one who was just like,
Dean?
oh,
Somebody
hey, he's
saw her and was
passing.
like totally like whatever
It was
about
it
it.
was
And was like, oh,
Dean,
he's
yeah.
in the shower.
That was really
And I
funny.
love the coach who was just like, okay, just just finish up. Like that, just see that stuff. Like it's like a
It
serious,
was
like, but she's in there to yell at him for doing a campus ban. And like he's just like, hey babe, like we're still together. The whole thing. And that what I like about fake relationships too is the whole, I get so giddy about this. The like for him and her, like those jealous moments where they're like, why
oh
am
yeah.
I jealous? And then where it like hits and they're like, oh crap, like I like this person. I liked
Me
that.
too. I like that he was kind of the one to realize it first. And
Mhm.
he was the one to kind of push it first. And like you said, he didn't believe, that she broke up with him. Like
Right.
he knew her too well. And like you think of the guy as being like, oh, he's the player, he's focusing on hockey, but no, he saw like we have this friendship, and he was the one. And
Yeah.
then, I like that she didn't easily, like she said, like swoon and be like, yes, I want to be your girlfriend. She like needed a minute to think. And
Mhm.
like they had such a rational argument where she's like, dude, you just sprung it on me. Like, give me a second. And he's like, yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Like that was really great.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then he had a great background too. I'm not a great background. He had a terrible background. But I liked that they like had, this, both had like traumatic past that kind of like they
Mhm.
could share and comfort each other with.
Yes.
And I think it made sense to how he, gained a lot of compassion, I think, for female, just in respect for women, where because
Mhm.
he saw the way that his mom had been abused and didn't want to be like his dad.
Right.
So I enjoyed those serious notes mixed with like the humor and the banter.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. That's what I liked about it, because we still got
Mhm.
what we need in a story with that like drama mixed in.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like still like, gosh, Garrett's just the best. Like I loved how he like took his time, even like when she asked
Mhm.
for his help, and he like first I loved the he figured out like her issues kind of. And then he was like, I want you to go out to this bar with us. I'm going to look over you. And I love how he did that for her. And that was like before the whole dating thing, like that was
Yeah.
before all of that. And I was just like, that just
Mhm.
showed like how like stand up of a guy he really is. And I don't think he saw himself that way for a long time. Like he
Mhm.
he bought into that I'm the player, I'm not a girlfriend kind of guy kind of thing,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
one night stand whole, well not because that other chick, but still,
Yeah.
anyways. But like I just love that he like did that for her, and those were like the first signs that he was like interested, and then that she actually trusted him enough to go do it and
Yeah.
go
That's
have
major.
fun and hang
Mhm.
out with everybody, and like same thing with like all the parties and stuff. But then it's
I love that. I mean, that the bar was so funny, and it was very cute how he monitored her. But then, of course, she ran into her ex and got upset because that's what happens when you're in college.
mhm.
And like, still, he was so respectful, and he like made sure, he like put her to bed and was so great with her. And it was such a sweet act. It really was.
Right.
I really enjoyed that about him. But you're right. I mean, that's why I think it's so great. It's because they started off as friends, and it wasn't like, they had the banter and they had like some bickering, but it was like, they cared about each other. He really cared, what was going on with her music.
Mhm.
And she really like cared about his hockey and about, what's going on with his dad, to the point where she was willing to break up with him. And
Yeah.
I loved how she thought through every scenario. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm going to bend to like the father's will. It was like, no, she thought through every scenario, and that he kept coming back. And it made it feel like, okay, I understand. Like, I get why she's going for it and not saying
Yeah.
it. Like, it
Mhm.
wasn't one of those miscommunications where I was like, okay, like, just that doesn't make sense. Like, it was well done.
Very, very. And
And
his
then,
reaction
yeah.
to it too was really like his
Mhm.
initial reaction was very natural of him, like just being like, what the, and like him
Yeah.
going back to the house. And I love how he goes to Logan's room and is like, where's the booze? And then he's like, why? And he tells him, and he's like, okay, I guess we're getting drunk tonight. And I'm like, that's a best friend. That is a
Yeah.
best friend right there, people. Like, like
Mhm.
that's why, like, as much as like I know I liked all the other guys in the house, and I'm looking forward to reading like all the rest of the series. Like I think Logan's like my top favorite of the
Mhm.
other characters, just because like he's such a good best friend, and like, you know, Garrett knows that he has a little crush on her, but he's not acting on it, and he's like dealing with it. But just the fact that he's like, okay, like she dumped you, we're drinking, I just
Yeah.
it was
Well,
good.
yeah, and he had his back no matter what. Like, he still
Mhm.
liked the girl. He knows he's not going to get the girl, but he's not going to like be like, well, no, there's no potential with the girl. He's still going to be friends with both of them, which I
Mhm.
really
Mhm.
liked about them. I liked the whole hockey crew. It seemed like, a really cool group of guys. Like, and I think it was a great setup to like be introduced to characters for future books. And I also liked like the whole like meeting of their friends, because again, it's very college, trying to merge friend groups.
Yes,
Again,
I
it really,
loved it when they
yeah,
merged the groups, and he was just like,
yeah,
"Oh my gosh, like we're hanging out with my friend." Like at one point they were like with both groups together, and it was just like he was like, "Holy crap." you
it
know?
was
And
funny,
I
yeah.
totally can see that. Like that's hard, and that makes you like in a real relationship too when you do that.
It
So you're just
does. No matter what age, really. I mean, it took, like I said, it took me back to like my college days, but then, honestly, at any age when you're trying to merge like friend, like relationships and friends, that's a big thing. So I
Mhm.
thought that was really well done. And those were just like enjoyable scenes. It was definitely just like an enjoyable read, with, these touches of like very serious things. And it really it made for the perfect story, like you said, like a good hair of the book
Mhm.
read, for sure.
Definitely, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just have to like I love Hannah. But
Yeah.
Garrett.
Yeah.
Just
They were
like Garrett
perfect for each
Graham is
other.
just like perfect book boyfriend. And
Mhm.
like I think what really sold me on him, not just like him being like insistent on like you're gonna tutor me, and then the jealousy thing and all that, but then like when she finally like said like all of her like issues of what happened with being raped and everything that happened to her, but then like how she like asked him for help and how he was like, but then he took the time to figure, like, research what to do and talk to other people and be like, okay, how do I go about this? Was just like, I was like, you're awesome. You're just awesome, because I don't know how many people would do that, you know? So she picked the right guy to help her, obviously.
Right. Person that would take it on, that would care. I mean, it was, I love that he like talked to the friend, didn't expose like what happened, did it in a, nonchalant kind of way. I agree. It was very well done. And then like again, the fake dating thing, she like had this crush on this guy. I was thinking, oh, is he going to turn out to be like bad? She kind of got a bad feeling about him. I'm like, is he going to be evil? And it turned out like, no, he wasn't. He was just like not, the right guy for her.
I feel like Garrett hinted that he was a little bit like playery, but he like played them to make him think he was different. There was hints. But I do like how like she talked to him and was like, this doesn't feel right, but I've had a crush on him, so that doesn't make sense. Like,
so I thought that was like, I was wondering if that was going to turn into something. So I liked where that went. And that like, it wasn't like, I like that she didn't go on the date with him. Like I was a little worried that was going to happen.
Yeah. I loved how he called her, how like one of his friends told him on the bus, oh, I heard that they're going on a date. And I love how instead of him just being like, let's see if it happens, like I love how he like called her right away and was
then showed up. Yeah,
and then showed up, and that's when the whole like no you're with me thing, like I love that. But that's the thing about Garrett. He wasn't gonna just be a pushover. Like he had that confidence to actually like go in there and be like, hey, like he wasn't gonna like play games. I like that. I can respect that. I get tired of games. Like even in the books, I'm like, can you just?
Maybe especially in the books, actually. Right? I like, there's something to be said for that, for sure. For like that straightforward, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So it was a good read.
It was. We really enjoyed it. It was a good one. I'm happy I read it. I'm happy I suggested it.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the next ones, especially Logan's. I don't remember. I know that there's a novella that has all the couples in the series.
Oh, really?
So many years down the road. But of course there's like the rest of the series that will like I think each of the friends. So I'm excited to do that. Get in there. Those will be like great. Like for me, those are hair of the books. So those are gonna be good like resets for me. So I'm excited.
I agree. I think that they'll be good hair of the books for sure. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the deal as well. And we'll see you next time on the Bye.
Bye everybody.